Well, tonight Brazil registers a surge in COVID-19 infections for the fourth straight day. Around the world, the numbers of people who have been tested positive for the coronavirus went well past the 6 million mark. That's almost about 10% of the world population. Remember, more than 3/4 of the world is under some form of lockdown. Quite a number of countries, including Kenya, are now considering reopening, but cautiously. Hello and welcome to the weekend edition. Let's take you through the numbers now and the latest number of coronavirus infections. The total number of those who have tested positive for COVID-19 stands at 6,208,961. The global deaths are at 372,055, while those who have recovered are at 2,769,909. Let's come closer home to the continent. As at this hour, the total infections stand at 144,743. The death toll is at 4,116, while the recoveries are at 61,901. And now let's take you across the oceans to the US, now where 1,823,273 people have tested positive for the coronavirus. The death toll is at 105,698, while the numbers of those recovered stand at 536,293. On a day that Mexico has registered the most deaths and the US has expressed fear of an infectious surge as the unrest continue. That's the global picture. The local numbers will be with you shortly, but first, let's take a look at the highlights.
Tonight,
the Kenya!
Simba, Simba, Simba.
Ford Kenya wants to go to Canaan, but Moses won't lead them to the promised land.
Honorable Moses Masika Wetangula is hereby dismissed from the position of party leader.
Or will he?
We have, as a party, suspended David Eseli Simiyu. He's no longer our Secretary General.
The discord in Ford Kenya and the hidden hands. Also tonight, the COVID-19 numbers are rising. Contact tracing in informal settlements is a headache, and the prisons are a growing pain point.
At least for the remand prison, that means not allowing any further in-migration of people who are coming from the general population.
Where will the offenders be held pending arraignment? Plus, Madaraka Day is here. But is Kenya where it should be nearly 6 years on? If not, why?
The political intelligentsia is not, to put it diplomatically, not very intelligent.
And George Floyd's death has ignited the uproar, and Kenyans are not being left behind. Nyeri man Alex Nderito, whose post about the White House went viral, speaks to us.
This is NTV Weekend Edition with Ken Mijungu.
The immediate former Ford Kenya party leader, he speaks to us tonight. He'll tell us if he is immediate former or not. And tonight, only hours after he was ceremoniously removed from the party, he says he helped build. So we'll speak to him. And our sign language interpreter is Flora Atieno. 2 hours top stories tonight. And it's a catch-22 situation for the government, because tonight we ask, where will all the offenders be held when they are arrested as they await arraignment? Now, this is a current headache for the government, and it's grappling with that headache as it's having to shut movement in and out of the prisons following the confirmation of COVID-19 positive remandees who got infected after apparently 2 of them were taken into custody. However, the Kenya National Commission on Human Rights is more concerned about the conditions around the arrest than the state of the prisons. Charity Mwangi takes us into the situation of those behind bars and the tough choices staring at the government.
Behind these huge gates are people who are now living with a huge scare. They are behind bars, and within the very confines is the coronavirus, with 31 remandees testing positive Saturday, in addition to 2 others who had been confirmed before.
We noted that there were some positive cases, at least 2 cases that were reported from the Nairobi Industrial Area Remand Prison. Following that, as a ministry, we took the necessary action, working in conjunction with the prisons department, and advised that those 2 individuals who had tested positive needed to be isolated isolated completely from the rest of the population.
Prisons are among the areas the government had hoped would stay insulated from the disease, but their hopes have been dashed by what may appear as oversights.
We know that the remand prison was an entry point because that is a point of interaction between people who have just been arrested from the general population and who are placed there for a while they move to court. That kind of transmission is what we wanted to break.
Now the insulation is being reinforced. CAS Aman says the government has stopped visitation even by families and has declared the remand prison contained.
At least for the remand prison, that means not allowing any further in-migration of people who are coming from the general population. Because that is a closed population, we would like to keep it closed, because that is the way we can contain it.
This presents a situation where new offenders may not have enough space to be held in, presenting a challenge for government as it may see a surge in crime. According to an ongoing study by the Kenya National Commission on Human Rights, the measures laid down in the prisons to protect inmates and prison officials are adequate.
When the new admissions cases come in, they are first tested and then they are still kept in isolation for the next 21 days, after which they are again retested before release, before being released to the now general prisons population.
What is of greater concern are the arrests and the conditions around them.
You have officers who are not using the equipment or who have not also been given the said equipment, or when it comes to a point where they are arresting a number of people and you walk around and you see them overcrowded in one place.
Since the beginning of the pandemic, an estimated 11,000 inmates, mostly petty offenders, have been released from prison. As at Friday, 28th of May, Kenya had about 44,000 inmates across its 129 prisons. That number continues to rise as efforts to decongest the facilities fail to bear the desired fruit. Though the judiciary made adjustments on how it conducts cases, there is need to prevent infections further being imported into the prisons.
The KPAs and also the larger Council for Administration of Justice to consider facilitating infrastructure for virtual hearings.
Police stand accused of not offering bail for some cases, yet it is within its mandate, and courts are being called upon to provide favorable bail terms so as to reduce the number of those being taken into prisons. Charity Mwangi, NTV.
And of course, we still have stories on the COVID-19 for you. We'll be telling you about the informal settlements and why they are now being the center of focus for the government. But let's go to some party politics now. And Ford Kenya Party is facing leadership turbulence after the party's National Executive Council removed Bungoma Senator Moses Wetangula as the party leader. Now, Wetangula has been replaced with Kandonyi Member of Parliament Wafula Wamunyinyi. But Wetangula has dismissed the ouster as an unsuccessful coup, suspended Eseli, and also from his side replaced those who engineered his removal. Vincent Odor with the details.
Early Sunday morning, a section of members of Ford Kenya held a special National Executive Council, NEC, at a high-end hotel here in Nairobi and resolved to remove Bungoma Senator Moses Wetangula as the party leader.
And then they're telling me, you get out.
Efforts by Kwanza MP Ferdinand Wanyonyi and a group of Wetangula's supporters to forcefully access the meeting were thwarted. According to Ford Kenya Secretary General Eseli Simiyu, NEC replaced Wetangula with Kandonyi Member of Parliament Wafula Wamunyinyi as the interim party leader.
Honorable Moses Masika Wetangula is hereby dismissed from the position of party leader on account of gross misconduct, moral impropriety, and violation of the party constitution.
The party's National Organizing Secretary Chris Mandu was also removed and replaced by Josephine Mijungu. This latest move comes a few days after Wetangula failed to attend a meeting of leaders from Western Region held at Kotu Secretary General Francis Atwoli's home in Kajiado County. Bungoma Governor Wycliffe Wangamati says the greatest charge against Mr. Wetangula was his failure to foster unity in the party.
there's a lot of reorganization that is happening, political reorganization that is happening at the national level. We as a party, Ford Kenya, we want to be part of that discussion that is happening at the national level. We as a party, we want to be part of the government in 2022.
But after holding a meeting with members allied to him at the party's headquarters, Wetangula emerged and dismissed his ouster while suspending Eseli Simiyu and replacing him with Kiminini MP Chris Wamalwa as the acting Secretary General.
And coups are activities of cowards. Anybody who wants to run for a seat in Ford Kenya, including the seat of party leader, file your papers, let's meet at Bomas when the date for elections is set, and let the people make their choice.
I want to assure everyone of teamwork. I want to bring vibrancy to this party. Yes. We want to reclaim the lost glory in the Roaring Lion.
It has emerged that Ford Kenya Party Deputy Leader Richard Onyonka was supposed to attend Wetangula's ouster meeting and be made the interim party leader, but bolted out in the last minute. NC Party Leader Musalia Mudavadi has condemned Wetangula's ouster, saying it is aimed at destabilizing all independent-minded parties.
The mischief has been escalated at a number of meetings led by the leader of a NASA member party, whose objective is to destroy and dominate everyone politically.
Ford Kenya is the second oldest party in the country. For now, Ford Kenya has 13 members of parliament, 2 governors, and more than 80 members of county assembly. Vincent Odur, NTV, Nairobi.
And as expected, that decision to kick out Moses Wetangula out of Ford Kenya party leadership has raised the political temperatures in his home county of Bungoma and the neighboring areas. Some leaders have termed the move as the highest level of betrayal, especially on the part of the governor, that's Wycliffe Wangamati. Now this, they say, is because the shine on Wangamati's political star is as a result of Wetangula's hand. NTV's Zacchaeus Mwasame reports that ODM party has distanced itself from Ford Kenya wrangles after allegations that ODM leadership influenced Wetangula's ouster.
Some members of the county assembly elected on a Ford Kenya ticket have blamed Bungoma Governor Wycliffe Wangamati, Kandui MP Wafula Munyinyi, and his Tongren counterpart Eseli Simiyu for the move which they say is uncalled for.
Watu wasitoke tu wawili peke yake wanasema tunataka kuchange party leader. Hii party leader haikuji tu, lazima sisi tuko na mtu wetu anaitwa Moses Masika Wetangula. Yeye ndiye bargaining power. Unajua sisi tukikosa bargaining power huko mbele, mtu kama mimi ni MCA, siwezi ingia mahali penye huru yako.
Tuna viongozi wachache ambao wanataka kutumia mali ya umma ili wasambaratishe na kuhujumu chama cha Ford Kenya. Na sisi kama viongozi tumeona hilo jambo na tunawaambia kwamba mambo kama hayo haitawapeleka mbali. Tunaambia watu wetu wa Bungoma na hasa mkoa wa Magharibi ya kwamba muwe macho na viongozi wachache ambao wametanguliza maslahi yao mbele bila kutanguliza maslahi ya wananchi mbele.
Na nimeona leo wenyewe wamedondoka mchana kadamnasi ya umma. Ninashukuru katibu kuchukua uamuzi ambao wanachama wamepitisha. Na kutoka leo Mheshimiwa Governor wa kaunti ya Bungoma ambaye tulimpa nafasi akawa kama ngamia, akaweka pua, akaweka kichwa, anafikiria nyumba ya Ford Kenya anaweza kuinyakua kupitia mlango wa nyuma.
The politics at play have seen accusations that the Orange Democratic Movement Party had a hand in Wetangula's misfortunes.
Msimamo wa chama cha ODM ni kwamba hatuingilii masuala ya ndani ya vyama vingine. Sisi tunataka tu tuwe na mfumo wa kidemokrasia ambapo wale ambao ni wanachama wa chama chochote wana nguvu na sauti ya kusikika. Wakitaka wafanye mabadiliko wayafanye, lakini sisi kama ODM hatuingilii masuala ya vyama vingine ya ndani na hatutarajii kwamba wengine nao wataingilia masuala yetu kama chama cha ODM.
The rift between Wetangula and the Bungoma governor is said to have widened when the senator raised an alarm over alleged misappropriation of county funds amounting to millions of shillings in unsurrendered interest. It grew wider as MCAs believed to be working closely with Governor Wangamati, who were recently de-whipped from various committees, including the removal of the majority leader. Political commentators say the fight between the two leaders could get worse as MCS allied to Wetangula could present an impeachment motion for the governor's removal from office. Zakis Masame, NTV, Bungoma.
And we are informed that Moses Wetangula, together with Musalia Mudavadi, who is the ANC party leader, will tomorrow be hosting leaders from Western Kenya at his home in Karen. We'll talk about that shortly, but let's talk about the substance of the day with the senator. And Senator, do you plan to appeal this ouster? And if you plan to do that, from where? Where are you going to seek a recourse?
There was no ouster, so there's nothing to appeal against.
Then what happened? What happened? Why was that press conference?
A group of people led by two members of parliament, a governor, and a few people, some of who are not even members of the party organ, holed up in a 5-star hotel at the Arboretum called Radzone Blue. They hired planes to lift some people from Kisumu, to lift people from Mombasa. I don't know where they got the money. And they purported to make changes in the party. You heard what the former Secretary General was saying, that the party leader has been dismissed. There's no provision in our constitution to dismiss anybody.
That's going to be my next question. But then, if there was no ouster, why did you respond? Why did you waste time to call a press conference?
We did call the press conference because some things must be put to rest. Anxiety was being raised all over the country. You had given this grouping live coverage, so to speak, on several national media houses. People, particularly in our strongholds, Trans Nzoia, Bungoma, Busia, Kakamega, Vihiga, were very restless. People wanted to take to the streets despite the restrictions of
So you
corona.
needed to calm down.
I had to calm down people.
Okay.
And if you listen to me,
Yes.
Ken, I said, these people, Eseli is my boyhood friend. I have walked a long journey with him and he knows what I've done in his favor. Wamunyinyi, I have walked a long journey with him. He lost elections in 2007. I appointed him as special envoy to the AU to Somalia.
Okay.
Wycliffe Wangamati.
Yes.
I
the
carried
governor.
him like a baby
Yeah,
to
and
the office.
We've had your constituents talk about that.
And I have no ill will against anybody, but I have a duty, a cardinal duty, to protect the image, the integrity, and the legal structure of the party.
Now that you say that there's no provision for what happened, is there a provision for what you did, suspending them as a party leader?
Yes, there is a provision to suspend a truant member.
Without the National Council meeting and setting
If
and
you
making a
listen to
decision?
the structures of our party, you will get to know, Ken.
Okay.
We have management, we have NEC, we have General Council, we have NDC. Now, NEC can suspend or recommend the suspension of a member. Once suspended, he's served a notice to show cause. If he shows cause and gives plausible reasons, then NEC can pardon him. If NEC recommends an expulsion, then it has to go to the General Council and NDC.
Okay.
Yes.
That's where it's involved. All right.
Yes.
That's out of the way. I'd like to ask you this question because 2018 in March, when you were removed from the Senate, you mentioned it will be noisy and messy and there will be casualties. Increasingly, Senator, you look like the casualty because you were removed from the leadership of minority of the Senate. And then now again, your party is removing. Why is there this onslaught against you?
My party has not removed me because I know the party. The party is not about 3 people, these 2 MPs and a governor. The party is about grassroots rank and file members. And you watch this space, you'll see people from all over the country who are members of this party, who believe in this second oldest party in Kenya, a party that was formed to restore democracy in Kenya, will never accept undemocratic practices within its rank and file.
Okay.
We will not. And I can tell you, there has been no coup. There was an attempted disruption of the tranquil nature of our party. We have been so tranquil in our performance of our duties that we do not go around standing on rooftops to tell people what we are doing. But we do a lot of things. We are a party.
Yes.
How many parties have more than one governor in Kenya? The only parties with many governors are Jubilee and ODM. The
Followed by
next
you
party,
have 2.
we have 2.
Yes, 85 MCAs.
Yes.
And 3 members of parliament.
13 members.
13 members of parliament, sorry.
Yes.
Yes.
So that is not a small party.
It's not a small party.
Yes.
But let's assume, I know you say that you have not been removed, but let's
I haven't been removed.
The charges have been brought against
So that
you.
assumption does not arise.
Violation of the Constitution.
Nobody can tell you
The party's
which part of the Constitution I have violated. The man who was making the statement, Dr. Silale, is under our Constitution the official spokesman of the party. He's the one to disseminate information from the party. He's the one to deal with answering any issues that arise of the party. If you look at other parties, look at ODM, young Sifuna is permanently in the news articulating issues of the party. If
SG
you,
ODM, yes.
Yeah, in ODM. If you look at Jubilee, Raphael Tuju is constantly in the news, even when he's unwell, articulating issues of the party.
That is what he should be doing.
Yeah, you don't hear Dr. Silale talking about COVID-19, talking about locusts, talking about floods, talking about the uncontrollable stretch of trucks from Malaba way past Webuye to Chimoy that has paralyzed traffic.
Well, he's failed your party.
He's just quiet. He's failed the party.
He's failed your party.
If anybody has to leave his position for
He's
failure to act, it is him.
Okay. Do you think, because Musalia Mudavadi mentioned this, and tomorrow you're hosting a joint party of the leadership.
Yes.
About 3-4 days ago, if I'm not wrong, 3 days ago, the Kotu boss also did the same thing you're doing. Hosted a leaders party that you never attended, or a leaders meeting that you never attended. Now you're hosting one together with Amani National Congress leader Musalia Mudavadi. Why do you think these guys or these party members are attacking you? Forget about the ouster. Is it because you're hobnobbing with these other people, or there's another reason? Probably they even say you met Deputy President William Ruto to discuss a coalition.
I have never done that to begin with.
But you've heard that, they've said that.
Many times.
Okay.
Even today, some journalists try to ask me. I am leading a party. I have told everybody who cares to listen of my intention to vie for the top seat of this country. As far as I know, Deputy President William Ruto and many other people are also candidates. How can a candidate support another candidate when you are contesting and running in different lanes towards the same goal?
Is there interest?
Yes.
Is there interest of these political parties the reason
Yes.
why these meetings are being conducted?
Is there?
Interest.
For political parties?
Yes.
Interests in political parties are always there. If you are in politics, political parties are formed to get power.
Okay.
To look for power. When you are unable to look for power on your own, then you go into a coalition. There's no party that is formed to make coalitions. That is not how parties are run, my friend. And I want to tell you that the cheap talk about so-and-so meeting, so-and-so, is all idle talk, hogwash, and about excuses of people who don't know what is happening around.
What is the status
because
of
I can tell you,
yes.
There's a good old saying that a thief thinks everybody else is a thief.
Is a thief. Okay.
Yes.
What is the position of your party, Ford Kenya, in the NASA coalition? Because you mentioned it will be noisy and messy when they gang up to remove
NASA
you.
coalition has 5 parties.
You're still firmly in the party or in the coalition?
NASA coalition
Yes.
is a legal entity. We signed an agreement between 5 parties to run for 5 years with a clear defined sunset clause. It comes to an end when the next elections are held.
Okay.
So to talk about leaving NASA or not is not an issue at all. What is an issue is that is NASA functioning?
Okay.
Certainly not, because you have had my brother Raila Odinga saying NASA is dead. You've had people say all manner of different things. But the bottom line is, we as Ford Kenya knowingly and consciously entered a coalition in...
So you're still in the party?
We're still in the coalition.
In the
sorry.
coalition. Tomorrow, just
legally.
Legally?
Yes.
But you feel shortchanged? That's
there's de facto and de jure.
Yes. What is the substance of your meeting? Why are you calling these leaders tomorrow? Just shortly, because I want you to respond to something else. What is the substance
tomorrow,
of this meeting?
You know, may God rest his soul in eternal peace. 2-3 weeks ago, I lost a younger brother.
Yes.
Tony Waswa Wetangula. And because of the restrictions going on, most of my colleagues could not come to say pole to the family. And my colleagues, led by my brother Musalia Mudavadi, have chosen tomorrow to come.
Oh, so that's the purpose of that.
That's the purpose of the meeting. But I'm sure even when you go to a funeral, there are things to talk about.
Okay.
Even when you go to look after cattle, there are things to talk about.
So
we can't lack
politics
what
might
to
just
talk
feature
about
there.
as people from the Western region.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Amid the politics and power play was a significant concern on the exposure of individuals at press conferences. And besides the concerns is the blatant breaking of the COVID-19 related regulations. Now, presently, public gatherings are limited to a maximum of 15 people. But as you can see in this clip, during the press briefing by some of the members of Ford Kenya, social distancing rules were breached and the numbers of people present were also above the limit. That was the press conference number one. Number two was not only similar in tone and fire, but also breach of the regulations. At Senator Moses Wetangula's event, masks were worn inappropriately, as you can see. Social distancing rules were breached again, and the number of people present were above the allowed limit of 15. Now, this once again begs the questions, are there double standards in the country when it comes to COVID-19 regulations in the fight?
Don't be fooled by success. You know, success creates laxity. Watu hawajakufa, kitu haina tab. Don't be fooled, because you haven't died because you have observed. You haven't died because you have followed protocol. Don't now say, hakuna mtu amekufa, hii kitu hakuna. No, the reason you have not died is because you have followed the protocol.
Well, if you didn't catch that interview, we'll try and repeat it for you. But Senator, respond to that. Breaching this distance, social distancing, and even tomorrow you're meeting. Yes.
I've seen breaches committed. You noticed when I walked into your studio,
a mask, yeah.
I had a mask on. And I sought your permission to put it aside so that we can talk
because
a little more freely.
Yes.
Because we have a safe distance. The colleagues who will visit my home tomorrow. We have prepared properly to have social distance. And your people will be there. I'm sure you guys never leave us alone. And they will see.
We've been invited officially.
And they will see exactly what it will look like, whether it's a violation or not. I don't intend, I'm a law-abiding citizen, I don't intend to violate the direction of the government. I support the government fully in the war against COVID-19.
All right. Thank you very much, Senator Moses Wetangula, clarifying to us there was no coup. Let's see how it plays in within your party tomorrow and the coming days.
I can assure you, our party is intact. The renegade members will face the full weight of the law.
Okay.
And
that's
the law
the Constitution of
is
Kenya.
our shield and defender, the Constitution of Kenya.
All right. We take a short break right here on NTV Weekend Edition, but we still have a lot of stories for you, including COVID stories. So stay with us. We'll be back after this short break.
For a better tomorrow, don't forget to do the 1, 2, 3 with Colgate every night.
All you have to do is come up with a nice idea, develop it into a nice story, and not just any story, but a story that showcases the ideals, beauty, and diversity of Kenya. Get your mobile phone and shoot a short film and stand a chance to win up to Kenya shillings 500,000 worth of prizes. To participate, you need to be a Kenyan citizen, have a smartphone that can shoot video in HD, be between the ages of 18 to 35 years old, shoot a film not longer than 5 minutes. The film should be in English, but if you must use any other language, please use subtitles in your film.
What comes to your mind when you think of the perfect home for your family? Is it the beauty, the comfort, the security, the convenience, or even the affordability? Victory Gardens offers exactly that and much more. It is just 10 minutes drive from Kitengela town and 3.8 kilometers off the tarmac. This gated community project comes with solar street lighting, Maram roads, beautiful trees, 24-hour security, and water connected to every plot. The best part is, families are already living here. Call us today on 0790 300 300 or visit www.optiven.co.ke.
Optiven Limited, the pacesetters in real estate.
Hi guys, we are the Mariahs.
We are an ordinary couple
going through ordinary challenges.
Kila mtu akiona shida, you take your paper, you write down your problem,
tunaiweka hapa. Trust me, hizi zangu ni kama 2 hapa. The rest ni zake.
Pump sends you to this guy, manzi.
Hizo t-shirts zinanikatia, to be honest.
Tafadhali ujoreza yaje. Mimi sijaongea uogi.
Shawa, tuko seria shawa.
Mwanaume anaingia kwa kitanda, jasho.
Right, welcome back to Weekend Edition. And with the increasing cases of COVID-19 in the country, informal settlements are now the spots for failing to adhere to the stipulated containment measures and likely contributing to the spike of the COVID-19 cases. Now, today, Kenya recorded 74 new cases of the virus, and 35 of which were reported right here in Nairobi. Helen Aura now reports.
While the government is working on contact tracing, it says informal settlements are now posing to be a challenge.
Many Kenyans from informal settlements are at risk of more cases of community transmission in those areas as reported.
We know that there will be great challenges in trying to contain the spread of the virus, and particularly in maintaining social and physical distances in some of these places. To be able to move in very quickly and to try to contain by isolating those that are infected.
Over the last few weeks, mass testing has been conducted in several parts of the city with heavy focus on Silale, Kawangware, Kibra and Langata. And the more the tests were conducted, the more the infections rose. But while the rapid rate of community transmission worries the government, what is even more worrying is that Kenyans continue to give false contact details, slowing down the pace of contact tracing. This has been linked to the stigma associated with the virus and the perceived costs, prompting the government to say that it will foot all associated bills.
I want to remind us all that the behavior of the infection curve, the trajectory that this curve will take, is totally dependent on our behavior as a people. Each of us has a role to play. Adopting responsible social behaviors to break the transmission chain of the virus is of vital importance.
Today, the total number of positive cases in the country stands at 1,962, with 74 new cases. Nairobi recorded 35 cases, Mombasa 23 cases, Kiambu County 2 cases, Kwale 2 cases, Kajiado 2 cases, Uasin Gishu 1 case, Kilifi 1 case, and Laikipia being the latest county recording 1 case. 14 people have been discharged today, leading the total number to 474. 1 person died today, leading the total number of deaths to 64. Today marked the last day of mass testing in the Silale area in Nairobi, which has been under containment for a few weeks now. While a good number of people turned up for testing, most didn't, citing fear of quarantine, stigma, and lack of finances. Helen Aura, NTV.
Now, away from the coronavirus stories, tomorrow Kenya will mark the 57 years of self-rule as it celebrates Madaraka Day, a milestone usually marked with pomp and color, as we are once again reminded of the vision of our founding fathers that they had for this nation. But as the political class busies itself with a scramble for power, tonight we ask, who is busying themselves with the actual building of the nation?
57 years since Kenya attained self-rule. Indeed, one her founding fathers to ask, has Kenya lived up to her potential? Close to 6 decades since the Union Jack was lowered and the Kenyan flag unfurled was the aplomb and jubilation that greeted the hard-won right to self-determine, well-deserved.
At the Uhuru Stadium, the Articles of Independence were handed by the Duke to the country's Prime Minister.
Have the leaders to whom the mantle was passed to shepherd a young nation to the promised land done their ancestors proud?
There are 2 fundamental things that a resurrected Tomboya will see in Kenya today. The first one, he will see that Kenyans of 1963 entrusted political leadership to an intelligentsia that understood the dynamics of power, the issues of economic governance, the issues of international environment in which they are operating. 60 years after them, nearly 60 years after them, there is here Kenya where the political intelligentsia is not, to put it diplomatically, not very intelligent.
Kenya's development track record is often unfavorably compared to that of the Southeast Asian nations, popularly known as the Asian Tigers. Unfavorable comparisons the experts attribute in part to a lack of vision.
For a long time in this country, we have politicians leading us, as opposed to statesmen leading this country. The basic difference between a politician and a statesman is that a politician thinks about his or her re-election, how he or she can survive in political office. A statesman thinks about how he or she can actually serve the country. Saying that we put our interest, the interest of the country first and our individual interest second is not solving the problem. It is the action that we take. In East Asian countries, we have had leaders who actually do that.
Those who have no purpose cannot get lost. If you are not going anywhere in particular, any route can take you there. The Asian Tigers had a very, very solid commitment to a certain trajectory. In Kenya, we grew an alternative narrative, individual aggrandizement, an equal distribution of opportunity, mainstreaming corruption, and celebrating thievery. The consequences could not be the same as the consequence of the Asian Tigers.
The sons of those who championed Kenya's independence struggle, President Uhuru Kenyatta, Raila Odinga, and Gideon Moi, are now championing the Building Bridges initiative as another opportunity to get things right. But others view it as another opportunity for the dynasties to secure their families' interests.
There has not been any African country, perhaps with the exception of South Africa, which had an inclusive national dialogue and created instruments of governance that could be the basis of a prosperous country. That you did in creating the Constitution of 2010. If that Constitution has not delivered us, I think you should ask questions about what it is that has failed us. It cannot be because of weaknesses in the Constitution.
That lack of implementation, in my view, has been one of the major weaknesses in our governance system. Because if you don't implement the good things we are talking about, then they are good as useless.
All the reports gathering dust on shelves evidence that a man's worth is judged not by his words, but by his willingness to bite the bullet. Olive Burrows, NTV.
Right, very pertinent questions there raised by Olive Burrows as we mark the 57th celebrations tomorrow. And the National Irrigation Authority is now seeking 600 million shillings to revamp the Galana Kulalu irrigation scheme. This happens on the background of the government terminating its contract with Green Arava, an Israeli company that was setting up a modern farm at the Galana Kulalu irrigation scheme, leaving the project to be funded by the Exchequer. The Irrigation Authority says that it is currently growing maize on 2,000 acres and is also developing a 10,000-acre modern farm expected to act as proof of concept for the implementation of the large-scale modern crop farming. Water Principal Secretary Joseph Irungu, who has been operating on a linear budget, are now seeking Treasury to increase the funds to enable them to complete the construction of the scheme.
The printed estimates for the next financial year will be allocated 10 million Kenya shillings. When we surveyed the contract, the initial funding that we had was also severed, of course, because it could not go on. We are now relying on our own exchequer to be able to develop what we can. And there isn't much to develop really, other than the infrastructure.
That we need about between 600 and 900 million to have the whole 10,000 acres the way it was conceived to be.
I think what is needed is goodwill to now have private sector practitioners, farmers, to produce in a consistent way and depoliticizing the whole issue.
All right, time now for another short break. But when we come back, we'll be telling you about the ongoing protest in the States following the death of Floyd and the Kenyans' roles, two Kenyans especially, on the role in that protest. So stay with us. We'll be back in a moment.
Can you tell Mijungu to come to my office immediately? Good morning. Good morning. Mimi sipendi unapanguza floor. Hiyo dust uache hapa kwa meza. Clean up. Mijungu, this is a problem, eh? Next time uende ununue selector yako, utengeneze sandwich zako, uachane na sandwich za boss.
Selector, the difference is in the taste.
Hii uende weke kwa ile githeri yako, eh?
Who wants to answer? Mary?
Mary has a toothache.
Oh, I see. And who knows why?
Because her tooth is too big.
No, it might be a hole in her tooth called a cavity. That's why I brush twice a day using Colgate. Imagine this is your tooth and these are food acids that cause cavities. Colgate with calcium and fluoride helps prevent cavities for maximum cavity protection. And now available in a 12-gram sachet for fresh breath. Only 15 shillings.
The Kenya Film Commission, in partnership with Techno Mobile, CDI Gadgets, Documentary and Reality TV, has rolled out the 3rd edition of the Mobile Phone Film Competition. It is a competition for short films shot using exclusively mobile phones.
To participate, you need to be a Kenyan citizen, have a smartphone that can shoot video in HD, be between the ages of 18 to 35 years old, shoot a film not longer than 5 minutes. The film should be in English, but if you must use any other language, please use subtitles in your film.
Kenya Association of Manufacturers is celebrating 60 years since its existence. It was set up as a business membership organization that represents the manufacturing sector in Kenya.
And it was actually the initiative of the Ministry of Energy.
We've invested in a wastewater treatment plant, which now reduces our municipal water intake by 70%.
Consider energy to be very crucial for socio-economic development of the country.
Over the 15 years we have held the Energy Management Awards, we have realized a saving of 15 billion. Manufacturers have been able to save and put in some of that money into better production.
Now, tension is rife in Silale, that's Baringo County, after police officers allegedly burnt down tens of structures at the trading center during an operation to flush out bandits. According to the residents, heavily armed police officers stormed the village and embarked on setting shops on fire as the owners watched helplessly. Police have, however, dismissed the claims that there have been fatalities of people and livestock, despite the evidence that we caught on camera.
The smoky picture tells of the heat of conflict that is in this area, Riongo, in Baringo's County Tiati constituency. A police operation which aimed at flashing out bandits and illegal herders who have invaded Baringo took a turn for the worse. Those tasked with maintaining law and order left a trail of disorder and destruction, and distraught area residents lamenting.
Marisasi, sijui hata hii inaitwaje? Hii ni risasi ama? Imejaa, imetapaka kila mahali. Hata ukiangalia sasa hizi unaona kila mahali. Nyumba imeangushwa. Hii ndio investment tulikuwa tunatumia peke yetu. Hatujui tumefanyia nini, kuangalia ni maafisa wa serikali. Wamekuja kutumaliza badala ya kutusaidia.
Hata ukiangalia hapa bila doubt, any reason of doubt, imeandikwa KDF bullet. Niliokota hapa kwa nyumba yangu. Wakachoma hii nyumba yangu, kulikuwa na unga mingi.
While the Rift Valley County Commissioner denies there being any deaths, the resident claimed that there is one person who succumbed to injuries. Father Natembea says that no animals have died, but on the ground there are livestock, some lifeless, bearing blood oozing bullet holes, and spent cartridges are gathered next to the carcasses. The responsibility of the damage that has been done has become the center of a blame game between the police and the Tiati Member of Parliament, William Kamket.
Our people see no difference between the cat rustlers and the officers conducting the operation. In fact, while the cat rustlers focus on cattle, the officers seem to have no focus at all. They are brutalizing the people, killing the cattle, and spreading the disease. This is not acceptable.
Jambo la kusikitisha kabisa kutoka kwa hiyo statement ni kwamba kiongozi anasema kwamba wataambia wananchi wao wa exercise the right to self defense, na kwamba wakianza namna hiyo both sides, serikali na yeye, ita lose. Do you believe this? Yani kiongozi anadare the government kwamba pia yeye ako na tools of coercion and terror. Monopoly ya tools of terror and coercion serikali. So when we say that kwamba hii maneno viongozi wako ndani, is those kind of statements ambazo zinasemekana na viongozi mnajua kwamba hii maneno sio maneno rahisi.
Meanwhile, Rift Valley Regional Commissioner George Natembea said the government is doing disarmament, particularly area of Silale, also faulted politicians and saying government will take action against them.
Already 2 police officers wako hospitali. Why can you talk about walipigwa risasi?
The operation comes 2 days after 2 police officers were ambushed by armed raiders while on official duty in the area. Kaltun Jama, NTV.
Away from that, you have probably heard about the tragic killing of George Floyd in the United States of America that has sparked protests across the country and in many parts of the world. But attention was brought back home to Kenya after a man from Nyeri County was thrust into the social media limelight after a comment he made on Facebook live video regarding the killings. NTV caught up with Alex Nderito, as Anita Nkonge now tells us.
Well, you got him down, man. Let him breathe, at least, man. I can't breathe.
The brutal murder of George Floyd in the hands of police in Minneapolis, in the United States, has triggered protests all over the world. Here in Kenya, one man by the name of Alex Nderito, a self-proclaimed Pan-Africanist who was angered by the murder and the racist skew of the incident, made a social media comment during a live Facebook video that was not only picked up by some Americans, but also made him trend on social media. This is the comment in question. It reads, "Burn the White House now, we are not turning back." When asked what was going through his mind,
hiyo kitu iliniuma sana na ikanibidi mimi out of anger, I was supposed to write a long story, but out of anger nikapata tu nimeandika kitu kidogo tu na nime post na imeenda. But you understand pale kwa ile live watching, hizo comments zinaendaga zikipita njoo, so you cannot leave us and edit, right? So ikaenda tu. After some few minutes nikaona imepigwa screenshot, mtu amepiga screenshot na ameweka sasa kwa Twitter na ikaanza kutrend. The person now was like ametag the security agencies zote, the FBI, CIA and the private intelligence hizo za huko.
I was live. By pure coincidence, a few hours later, many protesters took to the street right outside the White House, protesting over the police brutality. Some social media users began giving Nderito the credit for the uproar, something that he denies.
Right now it is crazy. Other people are saying that I'm the person who ignited the whole movement to take place in America. Before my comment, it had already taken place earlier. So there is nowhere I'm coming in. People are making fun, saying that I'm authorizing and controlling America from Nyeri. Others are saying that I'm a terrorist. They must withdraw that. I'm not a terrorist. I'm a human rights advocate. We need to advocate for peace, and humanity must be a factor. It must be taken seriously.
Alex now says that the social media fame he was thrust into is proving to be a security risk for him.
What made me be famous, in fact, to me, I'm not thinking about the fame. What is in my mind is about my security right now. And also, I'm thinking about those people who are opening fake accounts with my name and my picture. They are lewd, they are using abusive language. You know, I don't have control of the accounts. I've tried to communicate with several people who I can be able to gather some information or guidance on how I can be able to get those people who are using those fake accounts. But you see, I don't have any help.
He, however, says that his stand is firm and he is resolute on what he stands for and posted online.
I still stand that racism must come to an end. Africans must realize themselves, they must love themselves, and black men must be respected to the letter. There is no apology. In fact, I am not apologizing about the tweet or the comment that I made.
We can say it in Swahili. We say haki yetu. Haki yetu.
Alex is not the only Kenyan triggering some sort of change during this season. Another Kenyan did a selfie video as he taught the protesters how to chant in protest the Kenyan way. It is a case of Kenya to the world. Anita Nkonge, NTV.
Well, don't you think Kenyans are the best? And these are not the only incidences. If Anita Nkonge will just bring them off the internet, you will wonder how much impact Kenyan sentiments are making out there. Well, time now for a short break. When we come back, we definitely still have some stories for you and still have sports on the other side. Stay with us.
Do your gums hurt? Yeah. Does your toothpaste contain sage, eucalyptus, myrrh, chamomile? All that in one toothpaste? Yes, try Colgate Herbal. Colgate Herbal contains nature's best herbs and Colgate's fluoride technology to give you strong teeth and healthy gums. Ah, Colgate Herbal. Let's go. Colgate Herbal for strong teeth and healthy gums naturally.
Shop online and pay with your Visa card securely for groceries and other essentials, e-learning subscriptions, online entertainment subscriptions, as well as all other bills online. With Visa, you can make payments online using your Visa card in 3 easy steps. Simply go to the checkout page, select Visa card, enter your card information, and your purchase is securely completed. Safe is smart. Visa, everywhere you want to be. Terms and conditions apply.
The Kenya Film Commission, in line with its mandate and function of promoting development of local content and establishing a film fund, has established a film empowerment program that will provide film and video-related funding. Individuals, companies, and organizations will be required to submit funding applications to the Commission. To register, visit www.kenyafilmcommission.com.
The Public Service Commission invites applications from suitably qualified candidates to fill the positions of Registrar of Political Parties and Assistant Registrar of Political Parties. Details can be obtained at www.publicservice.go.ke. All applications should be submitted to the Secretary or Chief Executive Officer, Public Service Commission, P.O. Box 3009500 Nairobi, or online at Registrar PP20 at publicservice.go.ke on or before 2nd June 2020. Those who had applied earlier need not to reapply.
And you know him as John Amutabi, alias Nzenze, the famous twist artist who left many with fond memories of his musical prowess. The 8-year-old passed on in Kakamega, where he has been receiving treatment. Zacchaeus Musame tells us more about the man who is remembered for the twist dance.
Twist ni nzuri inapendwa na vijana, lakini kwa wazazi hawaipendi.
The man of the twist did his final dance and rested at the age of 80 years. Mzee John Amutabi, who has been battling prostate cancer, has been an icon in the world of zilizopendwa music, twist to be specific. Zenze was born in Nairobi's Muthurwa estate in 1940 as his father was working at the Kenya Railways. At the age of 7, he joined St. Peter's Clever's Primary School before relocating to Muhudu Primary School in Vihiga County.
Form 2 ilikuwaga nzuri kwa sababu watu wengi, hata wajumbe wengi wa zamani walikuwaga form 2. So nikaona sasa, nikajiunga na Norfolk Hotel kama waiter. Tukakutana pale na Daudi Kabaka, na yeye pia alikuwa waiter. Sasa servants quarters vile tulipewa room moja, kitanda yangu hapa na yake hapa. Sasa hapo, na vile nilikuwa ninajua gitaa kidogo, nilikuwa nikicheza na gitaa ya baba yangu. Babangu pia alikuwa na gitaa, alikuwa akicheza katika band ya railway. So nilikuwa naelewa kidogo. Basi Kabaka akafurahi. Nikaanza kuwa mtu wa mkono wa Daudi Kabaka.
He later joined the Norfolk Hotel after his basic education, where he met Daudi Kabaka, yet another fallen musical icon. United by passion, interest and skill, the two formed the Airfesta Matata Band. Years on, the band members parted ways and Zenze resolved to playing his music in clubs and events. He played his music at Club 37 in Kakamega alongside Tolo Fred Akivambo until 20.
End of this live broadcast, because I'm going to do a twist dance. So stay here because you have to see me dance the twist. Now, Doug Hurley and Bob Behnken, the two astronauts who blasted off to the International Space Station last night, are safely inside the station after an 18-hour, 54-minute journey from Florida's Cape Canaveral. Now, here's Alex Mwangi with more details on why that development presents a giant leap for the private sector.
3, 2, 1, 0. Ignition. Liftoff of the Falcon 9 and Crew Dragon. Go NASA. Go SpaceX. Godspeed, Bob and Doug.
When the Crew Dragon blasted off from Florida's Cape Canaveral last night, it marked the first time that astronauts were being taken to space aboard a private spaceship.
Continuing the dream. 20 seconds into flight, stage 1 propulsion is nominal.
The achievement of the deliverance of the astronauts to the International Space Station by SpaceX in collaboration with NASA is a big plus for the exploration of space by private enterprise. The Crew Dragon lifted off last night at 10:22 p.m. Kenyan time for the 19-hour journey.
M1D throttle down.
We're throttling down.
US President Donald Trump, along with his vice president, went down to Florida to witness the launch live, even as other parts of the country erupted in protests due to the killing by police of George Floyd. 2 minutes and 1 second into the launch, the Crew Dragon was already hurtling upwards at 3,756 kilometers per hour and 40 kilometers above the Earth.
Eco.
2 Alpha. Falcon stage separation confirmed.
Copy 2 Alpha.
At 2 minutes 40 seconds and 82 kilometers above the Earth, one of the Falcon 9 boosters successfully separated from the Crew Dragon. Almost 7 minutes later, the booster landed successfully back on Earth, albeit on a platform in the ocean, marking a crucial achievement in having a booster used to send astronauts into space recovered for posterity or for further use.
Soft capture complete.
Dragon is soft capture confirmed. Stand by for retraction and docking.
At 5:16 p.m. Kenyan time this evening, 18 hours and 54 minutes after launch, the Crew Dragon docked with the International Space Station. 3 hours and 6 minutes later,
We have Bob Benkin from SpaceX Demo 2 mission entering the International Space Station.
Bob and Doug, the two astronauts in the Crew Dragon, linked up with their colleagues in the ISS, marking another landmark achievement in space exploration, as this was one powered by the private sector.
Just wanted to find out if you guys got any sleep on your way up there the last, I'd say, I get 19 hours. Did you guys get any sleep?
We did get probably a good 7 hours or so opportunity for sleep, and I did succeed at sleep, and Doug did as well. So the first night is always a little bit of a challenge, but the Dragon was a slick vehicle, and we had good airflow, and so we had an excellent evening, and just excited to be back.
For the history made by SpaceX, it means that Expedition 63 will occupy a special place in history. Alex Mwangi, NTV.
Well, that was an achievement for two reasons that Alex perhaps did not mention. That's the first time in 9 years that NASA sent astronauts into space from the US soil. So the last time they tried to do this was 9 years ago. And of course, this is also the first time in human history that NASA astronauts have entered the space station from a commercially made spacecraft. Time now for another break. When we come back, we have all the sports stories. Stay with us.
The Kenya Film Commission, in line with its mandate and function of promoting development of local content and establishing a film fund, has established a film empowerment program that will provide film and video-related funding. The Commission announces the funding application for the 2019-2020 financial year. Individuals, companies, and organizations will be required to submit funding applications to the Commission. The submissions kicked off on the 28th of April and will run through to the 9th of June 2020. To register, visit www.kenyafilmcommission.com. Kenya Film Commission. Film Kenya. Capture Africa.
Change your baby's diaper often and as soon as possible after bowel movements. Gently clean the area with mild soap and water or baby wipes. Have a clean diaper. Use diaper ointment to prevent diaper burn, diaper wipes, or a container of warm water and a clean washcloth or cotton balls.
Kiss Kids diapers. Kiss Kids. No rashes. Kiss Kids. No rashes. Bye-bye rashes. Buy diapers. Choose Kiss Kids.
Kenya Association of Manufacturers is celebrating 60 years since its existence. It was set up as a business membership organization that represents the manufacturing sector in Kenya.
And it was actually the initiative of the Ministry of Energy.
We've invested in a wastewater treatment plant, which now reduces our municipal water intake by 70%.
Consider energy to be very crucial for socio-economic development of the country.
Over the 15 years we have held the Energy Management Awards, we have realized a saving of 15 billion. Manufacturers have been able to save and put in some of that money into better production.
Hi guys, we are the Moriahs.
We are an ordinary couple
going through ordinary challenges.
Kila mtu ana shida, you take your paper, you write down your problem,
tunaiweka hapa. Trust me, hizi zangu ni kama mbili hapa, the rest ni zake.
Pump sends you to this guy manzi.
Hizo t-shirt zinanikatia to be honest.
Tafadhali ujoreza yaje. Mimi sijaongea uogi.
Shawa, tukoseria shawa.
Mwanaume anaingia kwa kitanda jasho.
Right, time now for sports, and there's a lot of excitement because the football calendar is at least resuming in the coming days or weeks. Away from that, the global spread of the coronavirus has no doubt disrupted the athletics calendar in the world, with the most local and international races being cancelled or postponed. But a new normal is emerging in the athletics world, with races now being held virtually. Lois Wangoi visited Winnie Kosgei, a road race runner who will be running the Tamarack Old Tower Marathon, that's 10 kilometers race on Tuesday, but virtually.
The race may be virtual, but the training is real. Winnie Kosgei going through her paces, preparing for the Tamarack Ottawa 10 kilometers race that will be held in Canada.
I'll be running alone 10 kilometers from Ilula to Kaulamani. I'll be doing a solo run because I'm promoting social distancing.
A virtual race means the participants will compete from the comfort of their countries, with technology playing a key role of streaming, filming and coordinating their individual runs before results are compiled.
I think my pace now is 3:30, and I'm planning to run 34, that 10 kilometers.
Winnie had to pick a date, time and hour of convenience. She will then log in her GPS location for the start of the race using a special digital watch. The watch will capture and transfer data to an app on her phone, which will then be relayed to the race organizers.
I'll upload my results to Garmin, then the Garmin will transfer it to Strava. Then there is an account I was given for sports stats. The Garmin will transfer to sports stats. Then I'll send some few pictures.
The race organizers will use internationally accredited software to verify the authenticity of the photos and videos from the event. The technology may have streamlined the race process, but Kenyan athletes feel disadvantaged by having to race at high altitude.
If I could be running in low altitudes, maybe I could be running a better time than in high altitude.
Winnie Kosgei will run her 10 kilometers race at 6 a.m. Tuesday morning. She expects her audience to comprise her husband, child, and a few friends. Lois Wangoi, NTV Sports, Eldoret.
All the best to her. Now, more than 70 upcoming athletes living and training in Ngong are benefiting from a monthly food supply program. In addition to foodstuffs, the latest donation also includes face masks from Athletics Kenya.
Area around Ngong town has emerged as a fertile training ground for athletes from around the country due to its climatic conditions and its proximity to Kenya's capital, Nairobi. The global coronavirus pandemic has resulted in cancellation of races, and this has had a huge economic toll on athletes who are now depending on food aid.
Imekuwa ngumu juu saa zingine ni kutrain bila chakula ni ngumu. Alafu tena ni kitu yenye unaona ndio itakusaidia maisha. Sasa huwezi achilia. Inabidi tu umetrain hata kama kuna corona.
Corona imetuweka maisha imekuwa ngumu kidogo. Mazoezi imekuwa ngumu.
With the success of world champion Helen Obiri, who trains in Ngong, many up-and-coming athletes have trooped to Ngong, seeking to also unlock their potential. But the measures put in place to fight COVID-19, among them cessation of movement, have had adverse effects on the migrant athletes.
Wakimbiaji wengi wenye wanatrain Ngong wanatoka huko Rift Valley, wengine wanatoka Central Province, na hawana namna ya kupata chakula, hawezi enda nyumbani kwa sababu ya lockdown. So tukaona wako na shida mingi Ngong, tukaamua ni vizuri tuwasaidie na chakula kidogo. So tunajaribu kuwapa chakula kila mwezi mara moja, chakula yenye inaweza sukuma mwezi moja.
The Food Aid Initiative, which is a brainchild of Coach Isaac Masharia and several other elite athletes, saw 72 needy athletes benefit from the latest donation. Calls have been made for the county and national government to also chip in and provide assistance.
Now, Kenyan international Francis Kahata has surpassed strict travel restrictions to find his way to Tanzania and link up with Simba ahead of the resumption of the Tanzania League on June the 13th. In an interview posted on Simba's website, the creative midfielder revealed that a letter from the club helped him to ease past the cessation of movement measures put in place at the borders to control the spread of the coronavirus. Now, Simba have a 17-point lead with 10 games left in the current league season that was suspended in April due to the coronavirus. Now, Simba are also set to face defending champions Azam in the Tanzania FA Cup quarters at the end of June. Kahata, who has cemented himself as a cog in the Msimbazi Bay side, will be crucial as the club attempts a double. Now, Borussia Mönchengladbach